So,
Yep.
you're just really, you might do that because you might just like break, but you're most likely not going to, I think when you're on a more, I guess, reasonable diet, I guess you'd say, like not anything that's extreme. I think that the cravings are less, and when you do have one, I think you can handle it in a little bit more responsible of a way. Whereas opposed to like keto, intermittent fasting, bouts of long-term fasting, dry fasting, all these things, they kind of remind me of like holding your breath underwater. Like you got to take this giant breath to go underwater because you know that you're not going to breathe for a little while. And those diets feel like the same way. It's like, I'm going to make this big sacrifice coming up. I'm going, Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going to, cheat on the diet. And it's like, you're not even really just like cheating on the diet. You're not even really like, it's not a refeed. It's just like you eating like a total pig and eating like completely irresponsible, which again, if you now look at this is one of the issues I've had with keto from the beginning, and one of the issues I've had with carnivore is like a lot of people aren't actually following it. And so all diets can work. I think we can all agree on that. How they work, how long they work, what are some of the negative side effects? We can definitely point to that there's maybe more negative side effects associated with one diet versus another diet. That all seems very fair. But a lot of times when people are doing keto, they're not really realizing they're doing a mixed diet. And when they're doing a carnivore diet, it's because they tend to cheat on it. They can't stay on it. So like they might do really well for 3 days or 5 days, and that's incredible. That takes a lot of willpower. But they're white knuckling it so hard that every couple days they mess up. And if you were to look at their macro count at the end of the month, it might not even look that much different than the standard American diet, which is a real shame because these people they are putting in their best effort. Like they're working hard at doing this. And that's why I'm so obsessed with this. And I keep kind of looking for new things and new nuances of diet because I want to be able to share a lot of options with people. And I really do want to help people with their cravings and stuff. And the sugar diet has knocked the crap out of my cravings. I cannot even really believe what it's done. I mean, with the exception of me wanting to eat like a keto brick, which I don't know if you ever had a keto brick before.
Not a keto brick, but I can assume probably some fat bomb combination.
Yeah, keto brick is delicious. It's actually just a big old clump of like stearic acid. So it's kind of a genius thing, but it's like 100 grams of fat. It's like 1,000 calories. It's created by Robert Sykes, and it's a great product. So that's the only thing. Like every once in a while, I'm just like really craving that. But it's hard because if I open that thing up, the thing's like 1,000 calories, and like I'm probably gonna just devour the whole thing. But yeah, it's knocked the shit out of my cravings. I've been really surprised by that, and I think that's fantastic. And I hope that it can have similar results with other people.
I mean, I think this is something that is important to understand for people in general, because part of the problem, there's two things I want to talk about here, but part of the problem with the diets, carnivore, keto, low carb, is that there's an element of like puritanical restriction in there where it's like, I can't have this thing. And that I think psychologically over time makes it difficult from a sustainable perspective. And it also like you have like, if I eat carbs, it's like a sin type of thing. Like, so it's like your own drives in your body are incorrect, right? It's your desire to eat this thing is wrong. And I think for me, one of the big things is with the bioenergetic, the reframing was my cravings are my body telling me I need a particular thing. My cravings is actually an intelligent signal from my system saying, hey man, like we want some carbs. Now, I think the problem comes in is that the current food systems are hijacked, right? Like people are craving, I want pizza, I want donut, I want ice cream. So you could be saying like, I'm craving a little bit of fat, I'm craving a little bit of carbs, I'm craving a little bit sweet. That can easily be met with fruits or potatoes or any of this other stuff. It's just we have this weird association because the food industry has done a really great job of hijacking people's cravings and creating these associations in your mind. You see like the guy turns into Elton John and they hit him with a Snickers and all of a sudden it's like snap into a Snickers and like you're yourself again, like this type of thing. So I think that like they've done a good job there, but for me, like once I had enough fruit, like I can look at cake, ice cream, all this other stuff. Like I don't even think about it because I'm already smashing 400 grams of sugar a day. I'm already eating 100 grams of fat a day from chocolate and mac nuts. So by the time I see that stuff, I'm like, I'm full. Like, I'm good. I don't need anything at all. And the same thing, like you get craving for salt, because all of these things, fat, carbs, salt, these things lower those stress hormones. So when you don't have enough of these things and you run those stress hormones, the stress hormones themselves increase the desire for that. Because the body's basically saying like, hey, would you rather me break down your tissue and your structure, or can you go get something to eat so that we don't have to do that? And that's why you see in the studies, like if you take people and you expose them to something stressful, if they have something sweet before, they don't get as high cortisol spike. They don't need to have as high cortisol spike because they have the carbohydrate, because all the cortisol is doing is releasing sugar into the blood so that you have more fuel to deal with this increased energy demand. Because the stress is just a supply demand curve. You either you have an excessive amount of demand or you don't have enough supply. So when you start to think of your cravings as something that's normal, it's something that you should have, it's an intelligent response from your body, then it changes the game as well, because it breaks this mold of like, I just need to restrict if I can just do this carnivore for 1 week. And this brings me to the second point. The most important thing, like two of the most important factors, despite all the research stuff that I do, right? The two most important factors that I found to hone in on diet with clients from an implementation standpoint is sustainability and implementability. Mark, I could write you a ridiculous plan right now for the sugar diet, minimizing specifically isoleucine during this time of the day and getting all the other micronutrients and everything else dialed in. But if you can't follow it, it doesn't matter. If you can't do it if you have 100 pounds to lose, if you want to do it the right way and keep your lean muscle tissue, you're sitting down, you're saying I got 50 to 100 weeks or so, depending of weight loss. So it's like, that's a long haul move. That's not I need to just do this in 1 month and I'm good to go. So you need to set up a system that person can maintain long term. And then you have to think, once you finish that, what do you do next? Because you have this intervention phase of weight loss, shifting things with the diet and all type of stuff. And then you have the maintenance phase, which is, what do I do the rest of my life once I achieve this goal? Right now, the strategies that we have, and you see this in the research, of I'm going to maintain this, they fail. Because most people who do Ozempic, they gain the weight back and they quit Ozempic within 1 year to 2 years. Most people who run these different diets, they quit the diets within 1 year or 2 years. And you're going to see with sugar diet, people are going to drop off after a certain period of time. And it's not a shot at the diet, just in general, people don't maintain some of these things. And once they achieve this thing, and that's why you see people will weight cycle massively between keto and intermittent fasting, and then come back and they gained all the weight back. And so you need an intervention that you get the outcome and then you can sustain it over the long term. It's extremely important. And with the diets, this perspective, or the way that I try to set things up is, say we get you to lose the 100 pounds. We did it in 50 weeks. I have clients, they've lost over 100 pounds. I had a client lose 100 pounds and gain 20 pounds of lean muscle tissue in a year's time frame. And the way we did it was 20 to 30% deficit. He had carbs, he had protein, he had fats. We dialed it in him, resistance training. He stayed consistent on the protocol. He hit the targets, and we've been doing monthly scans to see what's going on with his body composition. So we trend the whole thing. We can see all the stuff, and I have all of his lab work. So I can see what happened with his hormones, his lipids, all this type of stuff. So now, say he wants to get back to maintenance. All I'm doing is I'm changing how much orange juice he has in meal number 2 and 3, how many eggs he eats for breakfast. That's the only thing I'm changing. I'm not changing this massive shift in the diet. It's the same diet, just with more stuff of that he was already eating, that he already likes, that he already tolerates well. So the shift is very small, and then people are actually able to maintain it because it's like, well, I'm already doing this, and now I just get to eat a little more. This is great. And I'm at the body composition I want. Because again, like for him now, his caloric targets are higher because his muscle tissue is higher and his hormones aren't shot. He had estrogen, high estrogen for years. We took the body fat off. His estrogen is the lowest he's ever seen it over time. And all of the cardiovascular risk markers and everything dropped as well with the weight loss. And he can eat more now because he has a higher muscle tissue. So those are the outcomes that we're looking for. That's what I'm looking to see. But again, like it took time and work to do that.